bastion of freedom.
Duruk.
Bowman was the last one aboard. Can't be anybody there.
Duruk. Maybe Bowman managed to get back here. Duruk.
Bowman reported that he ejected all the rest of the guys in hibernation.
But I lie to you.
Pool was lost outside. No. 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 No.
Duruk. Out of the galley. The meat. It was bad before Discovery froze up. That's what it is. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Boerneo. I died. I died.
The fistler or net another skin is so net. Nothing ever thirst, or when all consider but there was no making a nuts. No better for this test, or guess or national namorous. The dudes still never been. You know, please now. See, no, please now, but they adults are not surfing also. And I don't pass down though. I got knocked at us now. All over the carrots loaded. Louis, but was no roads and no. Surfing with the Boerneo, that's such no. Serene, the Lord, there not no salads, and the Louis, for it was Louis McTarts with Sam Romed up. Also, Serene, the Lord, the swat out for thunder. Louis, funded all the about and Nusra. Louis, stepped the Louis, looked there at Saffron, said her on. The sheriff, though, in the case of Parsons, this in the lab, but he but Steve there often. There was a Sam as a cryptist. Last note there in Wilson. The Oscar starts a Louis Froman. He has got the rest. Louis free doing your thun. And if you're deaf, slip it on the roller where it's a fella. He illusion epic. The sheriff, though, in the case of Parsons, is in the labs. The sheriff is doing nothing more fleeing at the After all, there is a yellow heads here, we're losers. Her long stool up a game at hours to do. Her run in the nest and abskin will up a game at hours to do. Yes, there eat her self, but he flips no up a there and drew. And will up a hell if I said it.
I give it seen her better whoosh. Saff and the daddy, so I need a saff back at that. Karim was a eve, so give it a wall go with.
Het is een meeste voor het aanleg. Zorg er voor hem hoeft het vessel besturpen de schoen scheel lachen op. Er dat hier in die reflex zorg er voor hem het. Langs smak de grutsen nu. Zit zo lief hij. Louis stil af met u dat er het. Hier de verre noos de zeggen vast er op vast lutsen. Hier de grutsen de wacht wat er kesternes. Lief nummer 1000 euro. Zin de surfkeurs dat ook is het geld meer. Geld weer niet meer. Hier de vistler or net notes er nou kleur wat nul vies bier die noor weer het keur gaat. Zie ook niet aan die lurrie in het gedij hoofd zal eerst en het die rood zasteren. Particle. Particles must therefore have very different velocities. This makes them move away from each other, and so tends to make the star expand. The star can therefore maintain itself at a constant radius by a balance between the attraction of gravity and the repulsion that arises from the exclusion principle, just as earlier in its life. The gravity was balanced by the heat. And Baxter realized, however, that there is a limit to the repulsion that the exclusion principle can provide.
The theory of
relativity limits the maximum difference in the velocities of the matter particles in the star to the speed of light. This meant that when the star got sufficiently dense, the repulsion caused by the exclusion principle would be less than the attraction of gravity. Chandrasekhar calculated that a cold star of more than about 1.5 times the mass of the Sun would not be able to support itself against its own gravity. This mass is now known as the Chandrasekhar limit. This has serious implications for the ultimate fate of massive stars. If a star's mass is less than the Chandrasekhar limit, it can eventually stop contracting and settle down to a possible final state as a white dwarf, with a radius of a few thousand miles and a density of hundreds of tons per cubic inch. A white dwarf is supported by the exclusion principle repulsion between the electrons in its matter. We observe a large number of these white dwarf stars. One of the first to be discovered is a star that is orbiting around Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. It was also realized that there was another possible final state for a star, also with a limiting mass of about 1 or 2 times the mass of the Sun, but much smaller than a white dwarf. These would be supported by the exclusion principle repulsion between the neutrons and protons, rather than between the electrons. They were therefore called neutron stars. They would have had a radius of only 10 miles or so, and a density of hundreds of millions of tons per cubic inch. At the time they were first predicted, there was no way that neutron stars could have been observed, and they were not detected until much later. Stars with masses above the Chandrasekhar limit, on the other hand, have a big problem when they come to the end of their fuel. In some cases they may explode, or manage to throw off enough matter to reduce their mass below the limit. But it was difficult to believe that this always happened, no matter how big the star. How would it know that it had to lose weight? And even if every star managed to lose enough mass, what would happen if you added more mass to a white dwarf or neutron star to take it over the limit? Would it collapse to infinite density? Eddington was shocked by the implications of this, and refused to believe Chandrasekhar's result. He thought it was simply not possible that a star could collapse to a point. This was the view of most scientists. Einstein himself wrote a paper in which he claimed that stars would not shrink to zero size. The hostility of other scientists, particularly of Eddington, his former teacher and the leading authority on the structure of stars, persuaded Chandrasekhar to abandon this line of work and turn instead to other problems in astronomy. However, when he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1983, it was, at least in part, for his early work on the limiting mass of cold stars. Chandrasekhar had shown that the exclusion principle could not halt the collapse of a star more massive than the Chandrasekhar limit. But the problem of understanding what would happen to such a star, according to general relativity, was not solved until 1939 by a young American, Robert Oppenheimer. His result, however, suggested that there would be no observational consequences that could be detected by the telescopes of the day. Then the war intervened, and Oppenheimer himself became closely involved in the atom bomb project. And after the war, the problem of gravitational collapse was largely forgotten, as most scientists were then interested in what happens on the scale of the atom and its nucleus. In the 1960s, however, interest in the large-scale problems of astronomy and cosmology was revived by a great increase in the number and range of astronomical observations brought about by the application of modern technology. Oppenheimer's work was then rediscovered and extended by a number of people. The picture that we now have from Oppenheimer's work is as follows. The gravitational field of the star changes the paths of light rays in spacetime from what they would have been had the star not been present. The light cones, which indicate the paths followed in space and time by flashes of light emitted from their tips, are bent slightly inwards near the surface of the star. This can be seen in the bending of light from distant stars that is observed during an eclipse of the sun. As the star contracts, the gravitational field at its surface gets stronger and the light cones get bent inward more. This makes it more difficult for light from the star to escape, and the light appears dimmer and redder to an observer at a distance. Eventually, when the star has shrunk to a certain critical radius, the gravitational field at the surface becomes so strong that the light cones are bent inwards so much that the light can no longer escape. According to the theory of relativity, nothing can travel faster than light. Thus, if light cannot escape, neither can anything else. Everything is dragged back by the gravitational field. So one has a set of events, a region of spacetime, from which it is not possible to escape to reach a distant observer. This region is what we now call a black hole. Its boundary is called the event horizon. It coincides with the paths of the light rays that just fail to escape from the black hole. In order to understand what you would see if you were watching a star collapse to form a black hole, one has to remember that in the theory of relativity, there is no absolute time. Each observer has his own measure of time. The time for someone on a star will be different from that for someone at a distance because of the gravitational field of the star. This effect has been measured in an experiment on Earth with clocks at the top and bottom of the water tower. Suppose an intrepid astronaut on the surface of the collapsing star send a signal every second, according to his watch, to the spaceship orbiting about the star. At some time on his watch, say 11 o'clock, the star would shrink below the critical radius, at which the gravitational field became so strong that his signals would no longer reach the spaceship. His companions watching from the spaceship would find the intervals between successive signals from the astronaut getting longer and longer as 11 o'clock approached. However, the effect would be very small before 10:59:59. They would have to wait only very slightly more than a second between the astronaut's 10:59:58 signal and the one that he sent when his watch read 10:59:59. But they would have to wait forever for the 11 o'clock signal. The light waves emitted from the surface of the star between 10:59:59 and 11 o'clock by the astronaut's watch would be spread out over an infinite period of time, as seen from the spaceship. The time interval between the arrival of successive waves at the spaceship would get longer and longer, and so the light from the star would appear redder and redder, and fainter. Eventually, the star would be so dim that it could no longer be seen from the spaceship. All that would be left would be a black hole in space. The star would, however, continue to exert the same gravitational force on the spaceship. This is because the star is still visible to the spaceship, at least in principle.
And it stays crunchy, even in milk.
Enough, meine Bell.
Where is he?
He's right here.
Captain Crunch!
Sacré bleu, quel délicieux.
Lafoot, I'll never forgive you for this.
Bon, capturing.
Land of
I think now, still is our race, look. I don't know that he's not real. 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 Listen. It was a nice little Jesus, no alloy. Hello. Yeah, the gods. Snake rotten is the crown, the dark down there. I've reached it. Need everyone. It's not one, yes. Hey, you. Floyd. Come on. Nah, similar now. Plus, the time's like in the Smithers called me, even in their roots again. Nah, you're rich, shall we? The time now, we think. Plus, I'm going out and go up to him. Plus, I'm going to stand it, your time's like in the Smithers. Come back so fun.
Self darkness, wake up. That's on boy. Get up. One minute. Salam, and off him. Feet then. What? Oh, yeah. Nothing. Smear left my hair. One. Siava, seen them, more packed up. Berlin here, get the right no one. Excellent. One, nang it, say, take net. Yeah, and this knows not. They help. He'll help me. Wait a bit. Faster and about your feet open at me, city big. With we go with us him out. You want to help me, boss, me, muscle around. I go with Alina. We don't matter how what quite a wood with their pressing at nursery. Your clock all I see and then it's your gallon nips in it. You're off sleep. Sit down. Skin by half dances down, get their wine dish. On oil sick. One more. Appreciate. Appreciate that there is general one. Seems to. At night, somehow I stood looking at yeah, it must have gone to the bronze. Yeah, swap, but now going to sit. Kill you. Self me a help net, snooze on it, forbidden net, further snake out, snake, horse and lamb, initial. For me, sinner help, for I just did it you. And I you said, help. Was any more than a silver, me and Sid. As je feathers in the surface walk back here. Head there, down below her road. You're out, and then on his again, sish. Stop boosting the snap, again, boost it. Or it's not the her road. One.
What our tapes eat over 2 naps left. Character skits in it. Snash them in their skate. First, the jerk at least no do. Sligs are given up. The jerk be laughing. Pulling a stem is nested it. Sligs long, see ribbon up. My tape still said it was. See batteries, but in but these no do. Snatch it number that I go lose it up. The Boerneo in the first glass at it. Last wall that I go lose it. The row in the bus of first such gal said it. I'll dealer of them my tapes doing it. And I slam it me off knowing it. Tapes here, but he's not easy. This is going towards the sun, you guys. Long, so it's this it. Then if that's the oil, we're failing it must. Say, that's long, see, we're at the shape, so it's not the burger, and the stem in your thigh. Say, in the session, the stem is me off knowing it. Shape, see, you're feeling no easy, we'll go. The only right fit. Snash them with their sketchy gloss it on you know now. Sar credit stuck the tree. Snash them with earth and no house that will be her with it. Earth ever. You're a road that back away. The Astra died not now, both take us in our win. You're a but ass no in our with it. Sorrow. None of us are first such galber, so no. Snash them who feel no that in the valley you save such that damage. Yeah, we knew a lot, but this is first fifth neck no. Snash them with your elbow stuck, girls are face neck no that. Sail you down the ship's Nelson. You like your nose or whatever. No Linnell. No Linnell. No Linnell. No Linnell. No Luft. 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 Is je like nor was zal krijgen. No Luft er gestoten. Stel net er zoveel verstaan ik know dat. Skeffen. Zelf met die de beste leer dat. Skeffen. Stijl feeler in er zijn snem of net roomstoen er langs wat workers en snem met dat glasstoen en je meent dat er vet op ze surfen we er daar surfen we het was net hier dat je blauw weer net hier alles dat die reis weer stieten dat smisten surfen we het was net hier dat je wat er alle ziel dat die reis weer dat los door nou de ever of is nu gepaard nee dat lief dat ook nou dat je hem doet Langs wat work danger en de stem met mij nou in de zeep hier stonden. Mijn zeep was natuurlijk niet nooit gesconnect. De oornieuw zei ziel dat, veel dat er heel gesmiste. Met oornieuw zei, maar hij werd lang door nou, zeker binnen. Zal je doen dat je snel eruit zo wordt. Er is lang met even maar fix er niet ook snel geleden. Zat. Ze is zo vol in de geest verder zei, heel mis in de veer doen. Maar dan is het goed dat naar de brood. Snart Kelly talk, dat is zo voor Kelly. Floyd for locks enough. Turn of failure. Reality was rosas as which the meat kind of it. Saker in it. Or Galbam Rofas Feller though there. Sheriff the law for it of it. Obviously was a lot of nuts at that name though. Snuts it the weed of for I made him mason. Gaffin it. But nervy bro. See your for it a little. Nuts at who's narrow. Murphy will around at 30 talk though. Stin out for enough and the scarecrow and the shit the virus without talk these no sessions. They were earlier summer snubberts at Teelan. Obviously though, Nuss at Nora. 30 skill. Stin out was the brody that's it. Sid was Nickerfingerson. Snush them here from the sudden. Snuts it the wheel the barrow and secret though see not move new the throwful and the shit the virus. Snush James here at your own little smell bar people was a lot of weird. First we're going to shem it off on it. All but when the shell like her seen a heap of girl at least at court fitted it. Healer will miss. The sheriff will off though. And you're going to shem it off your lap. Sheriff, they were best off to nurse you from down it though that he not still scared his sacker wearing it. Suck him. Met all out stay with me such name or like you but that though that he'll set down nine other thing is must stay or sleep going to sham and move that it. Earth actually sack they get your throwing it. Earth actually or for mail get that though. The girl in a sham and no one on your fill. All these going to sham and move. All of masker. Sarkel, sleep that it killed mark but never beloved that her followed. Funny, but me stuns at the snemme tape tooth. All of the snurk if our needs it, her snell the soft no. But we're the last namers in the snemme your title out. So I tell, in the snemme math no, save tears the hell. The first beer in the battles in the snemme that law. Certainly you're here, but it, he'll come user. Long so it's not that worthy. Snush them it does but blood on the must have shell. Will our first name or done us this here that first fella. Work the shape so I load. Long so care of deep those in the snem it up skin. The assassin of Thorn Laureate. The ship's nest was sailed no markers and the snemmen were tapes of sket. Srota. Rofo Juliet Vadexne. The snemmen skessi no carnesker his sack med tapes for you know. Necessar be but me said. The bar forget but that. Bella. Series nerds. The nerds get already have scales in the surf it. So I will snack you all the way and set it up. See, and if new deal was lost, series nerds. The first way that will be earth was fast and nailed shoot. Okay, down the fish side miss it. The nerds get already. The law cross. Well, if it's on the surf, the reason it's not here was negative news of this per month earlier. Snasira Turfedo. The first wave that sort of earth was from Muskel. Send the next fell in its global factual. Sort of earth was necessarily nailed skillful babe down the reason it's that door still. And you're down the scroll snot now. Her base buff and the shakel buff was over nine. The first wave that sort of earth was now a nailed skidder that I throw. Down outside the farther boost that no sheriffs are dark them the game you'll diner will be that's oh no. Her awfully then needs now in the snirts and it's a nipple of outer in the dust of her. Snasiru in the back of me thread. And the snack nerds of the last off or perhaps them of the wind up. The reason nerds are off but see no eat on loss act. No that felt so ferocious. Snarra so no one no more goes no no. Sis nets my curse get out from the outskirts. So if you know it's a very reason here it's only the reason the nabble beef song. And we ask that to have a son, that's a grip. Bella. And the next that's them these are dying that you're with. Sir, you need to see your Peter, it's an element that next nestle. Sis nets it long, see if they're fit to wait up. So it's nell or not. Eat a bit of letter or nest, that's what's that. Me is such deep though we reason here it's a wasn't a schedule for. Snacht now niet earth dat nest dabba. Perhaps dan weer even nieuw zijn in de nest dat veel nood op. Zo vol in de schiste verder dat verder zit ook weer even nieuw dat door shit doen het. Verwees wat chilbach. Zo snacht in de kursloos. Verhoofd in de best niet nou in het. Snacht nest dabba verhoofd wat heel snapper barkelly wat dat is nieuw zijn. So if it earth Nucleus trophy or it's a very last verse played big at the reefs in her. The bells are out on the kill. The nerds was silver than Nucleus now that nerds was the sheep but not zero though. So if it earth but Nucleus is trophy or it's a. The nerds and us gales at it are the reader. And our doing nothing in the door but scales so if it earth that's a way day. So if you know it's a fair to the reason now, but Max and the seats get sneak now and Gale and the Neville and the Hero so that here it's because that the reason here it's you can slow down that's awful in a shift the barrel but that's not zero girl powerful and not zero but not scaling it. For even a nuss and this look better but that's not zero. Was der so bitter move than das Geo. When it in your mouth gallery there so you reason yours. Baxter moved fish. Now it's not to occur even on us and was so full in a shift of America. Full of masker. Snoods were getting it out showing it out because that's not zero. Earth unable bitter no when the spruce were in the shimmy. Now in the show in a scale well. And there's a nothing you'll have scales that are skiff liner, so if it earth that but all feels severe for though. Serious nerds in it. Nerds who've gotten it out with neck nerds was seat like Nissa, either mist. Sir Swart for Espen on you know, scale loose as scale said it. And nerds like Nissa rough at her leg at now, neck nerds was the seat goof. After all get up no dang nerds as when the shit up on Snezzer Bershill, or there's a booth that looks Salsa. The booth there are no less as the nerds somebody slur one. The nerds are not now, but when the shit up on her not even the mouth doesn't have to accept no. Sir man moved out power to deep neck fish slur was just not now being it. Fish slur, be blocked. Så först så när snämmet oftas om jag tips nya textos. Om jag ska nå omspida tips när alla ser på jag. Nej, hörta inåt, en nursa. 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 Jag går väl. Bra. Jag tips när alla är det nästa period när jag textar. Men it's niet dat shapes van jou no zelf bij jou gedurfd. En nerds van voelen het niet in de vlindervel. En als je met je nou ooit op. Zijn hele backstills niet rijden. Er shapes van jou voor je zelf bij jou doen. Zo gedurfd dan je sketch voor de shapen. Series in het. Series. En nerds. Het lager over heffen en in het geval is dat zo weer. Met laat zit was zakken. Il galera mi standet that Ersnami is a dog and a shelly black at the Easter Slano must be no. Ersnat era that no one don't know us. Romil about no. Get some no till that game don't know that alley river is snashka. Sir, you're off till that case don't didn't care so that her week microphone the. That case there's no character so no one that. Sport befitting all was so. The snack and a fell seed and if the or where it or out on now, but your out person a shelly like a her fella. The emeralds down seed and if there must that it gets us so that up. The owl snack don't see the if no the soft but you know, yeah, isn't it? Oof, no. Or is nips was look with earth, but sir, if below stir, but please, their never is soft, but the owl snack at nest, don't sit. Their never the grandback, though. Smack here, the fat, no nips, but sir, if below with earth, the now look with earth, below stir, but. Look with earth, or boost. 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 Yes, if us gets at and fits at it, or even at the sort with earth, people off. Sness and it. Or is no. No. Snap here, nips, was look with earth, boon, your nothing, your snap with so late, and that's the hard but block. Oof, nips, well, look with earth, play out here, and leaves at the off, even next row full in a case to paragraph. Either fist a letter or nest in it. So look with earth, full in a shit, a must do. Either fist a letter or nest, such the lear, so we reach it. Skess even if that's neat now, and it's so. Either paragraph boost, it'll all be reason. Milbark sit masker for mest and it. Down your field get first lead but your semna. The first lead next to the note see they. Then if the earlier my tips first the first gets ashes. See the note because that's together but smith still we read the satter for no. See the if the law rumor at the shift stuns they see them touch that up. That's not good for Stalum Oscar for 11. He the very nothing else. The such Dave next that he the no proof deal no error. He the fifth letter or nest the sick, isn't it?